Hey guys, Moose here with Munk. Just wanted to let you know that this episode of
Is
FrEEK Show True Crime.
fucked up. Sorry. I am very, very adamant about this one.
Yeah, this week's episode is very um triggering in many aspects. If the topic of sexual assault, infant sexual assault, and patricide is something that affects you, please do not watch this week's episode.
Click off.
That is a large part of what this is about, is dealing with mass murder, but um, those are kind of some of the key things that happened with this one. So please, if anything like that bothers you, please click off. Do not watch this video.
Please click off.
We say it for your mental health, for our safety, for your safety. Please take care of yourself. If you need anyone to talk to, we're always here to talk to. You can message us anytime, anywhere. Thanks, guys. Enjoy.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of The Freak Show. I'm Monk, joined here with Moose.
Hey.
And today, I know that we said last week that we were going to do that Moose was going to do a true crime. However, there was just so much information on it, she wasn't able to gather everything together soon enough. So instead, she's going to be doing true crime next week. Or not next week,
No,
next
I
month.
have.
Next
No,
month.
I have this. This is true crime. Tonight's is true
Oh,
crime.
it is. Okay. All right. Never
Yeah.
mind then. It's just not the
So,
WV co-ed murders. Okay. I didn't
yeah,
know that you were still doing a true crime.
no, I have like a couple of like true crime stories on board just in case there's like a week that you don't feel like doing it or something. And
Gotcha.
this was just one of my backup stories, which is why my notes are all over the place because it was, a backup story.
All right. All right. So what do we got today?
Okay. So I don't know how many people would know about this one. I know that it was kind of new information for me. This one is a very, I'm going to go ahead and say now, this one has a lot of content that may make some people very uncomfortable. Please, if you get uncomfortable, go ahead and, the second you hear something that might start to trigger you, click out because this one has some stuff.
All right. Well, what do we
So
got?
this is about Marcus Wesson. He was convicted of 9 counts of first-degree murder, 14 sex crimes, including the rape and molestation of his underage daughters, and is considered a serial killer.
Good night, everybody. No, I'm playing.
I
That
told you
is
this
a
one's
yeah. All right. Well, let's
um
go ahead and jump right into it then.
yeah. So he had 9 victims, and all the victims were his own children, fathered by incestuous relationships with his daughters and nieces, as well as the children by his wife.
I'm sorry. Run that back again. I just want to make
Yes,
sure I'm
the
understanding this right.
so all the victims
Mm-hmm.
were his own children
And they
that
were
were fathered
by his.
by his incestuous relationships with his daughters and his nieces, as well as, the children from his wife.
So not only did he do things to his daughters, he had babies with them, and then he killed the children and his own child,
Yeah.
like his like child, grandchild, whatever,
Mhm.
granddaddy, daddy, I don't know. Um.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this.
I tried to warn you. Um, it is to date, as far as like I've seen it, said several places in Fresno, California. it is their worst mass murder. So,
Do you think that these murders could have any cause for sentient pants?
no. I
Sorry,
think that sentient
nervous
pants.
jokes. Nervous jokes.
I think sentient pants may be on the other end of the spectrum from this one.
I would say so.
Okay, so after a standoff with police over a child custody issue on March 12th, 2004, the 9 bodies were discovered in a bedroom filled with antique coffins, each victim having been shot through the eye. Um, his victims ranged in age from 1 year old to 25 years old. Yeah. So he was convicted of 9 counts of first-degree murder and 14 sex crimes, including the rape and molestation of his daughters, prior to the whole incident on, March 12th, 2004. He had declared his intent to relocate his daughters and their children to Washington State, where his parents lived. And on March 12th, 2004, several members of his family and extended family, along with 2 daughters who were against him, converged on his family compound demanding the release of his other kids. The police were summoned to what was supposedly a child custody issue, and that's, when the standoff happened. And during the course of it, he, started out as he appeared to be super cooperative with them. He was allowed to step away and go back into the house, and that's kind of when things went south.
So wait. There was a call about like a child custody thing or child abuse, and that's
Yes.
the police showed up,
Child
and then
custody issue.
there was a standoff.
So it wasn't like the stand that you're like thinking probably. It wasn't like guns ablaze kind of standoff. It was hey, bring the kids out or we're gonna have to come in. And forcibly remove them from the residence. So the police testified that they did not hear any gunshots being fired shortly after, but other witnesses present testified that they did hear gunshots being fired.
So the police say they didn't hear anything, but other bystanders were like, "No, we heard the gunshots."
Yeah, pretty much. So
why would the police say that they didn't?
I have no clue.
Okay.
After 2 hours of the standoff, they found a stack of 9 bodies in one room and 10 caskets in another. And sorry, this is like it's a lot. It's very it's heavy stuff.
I'm trying to just wrap my head around like what you've already said, and I know that there's more information coming.
So the bodies of young women and small children were intertwined with clothing and stacked together in a back bedroom, and the bodies were so entangled that it took them hours to confirm how many actual bodies there were.
But he just shot them. That doesn't make sense.
See, it wasn't directly after he shot them that they came in. So they came in like 2 hours after the standoff even started.
But still, like, I
He went
can't.
back inside and they waited long enough for him to have time to do this.
Why did they wait so long? Why did they give him 2 hours?
I don't know.
But the thing that I still can't quite grasp, right, is that if they were they were just shot, they weren't like dismembered or anything.
Hmm.
I can't see it taking hours to go and pull one body off of another.
But it wasn't just like from what I understand, it was bodies kind of entangled with each other and with clothing, and just everything was so kind of sorted on top of each other that it was intertwined, and it was hard to like
Gotcha.
pick the bodies out from the and remember, not all of these full grown adults. Some of these are
Yeah.
babies. Um,
Sick fuck. Sorry.
yeah. So one of the police chiefs actually said that they were considering that some sort of ritual was involved, but they weren't able to make that kind of determination at that point. Um, the majority of the victims were females, um, ranging, like I said, from
25 to
1 year
1.
old to 25. And they didn't release the identities of the victims or the cause of death. And they didn't know if they were killed in the house or
Or,
somewhere else.
and then brought in.
Uh-huh.
But people say that they heard the gunshots.
Yeah.
This whole thing is just weird.
Uh-huh. So a guy who identified himself as Mike said that he was Wesson's brother-in-law and said Wesson thought he was God. Um, Police acknowledged at that point that they were, investigating the cult angle that was a possibility. Several neighbors reported hearing gunshots, and one police officer said some of the victims appeared to have been shot.
Wait, what? It broke up there.
Mm-hmm. One of the police officers said that some of the victims appeared to have been shot.
Just some of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So one of the neighbors said that she heard 2 to 3 gunshots followed by screaming between 2:30 and 3 p.m. Um,
While the police were outside.
and yeah. So the the ages of the kids was 1, 2 2-year-olds, a 4-year-old, 2 7-year-olds, an 8-year-old, a 17-year-old, and a 25-year-old. And it does list names, but I'm not going to
No,
go into
no,
that
don't,
out
don't,
of
don't.
respect.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's that's messed up to think
Like,
he threw and killed. I understand that
the,
he was like probably severely messed up, but like,
severely. I mean, first of all, he was having, like, forcing relations or whatever on his, like, children and his nieces. Like, that alone is fucked up. And
yeah,
then there was, like, a custody issue, you said, and that resulted in him apparently going off the deep end and killing them.
hmm um,
Did he?
during the what?
Oh, I was just gonna ask, like, were there any, like, of, like, surviving children?
I mean, that was the entirety of it. I think it said there were 2 of his kids that came and were like, hey, you know, you need to let the rest of the kids go. I think it was like 2 or 3 of them that were like, I have nothing to do with this.
So,
So during the trial for this, there were a few different theories
And
that were
question, they brought him
thrown
in
out.
alive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm. Yeah. So uh, he was arrested. He was 58 years old when all this happened. Um, the jury took over 2 weeks to find him guilty on 9 counts of first-degree murder, and he was also convicted on all 14 counts of rape and molestation of 7 of his underage daughters and nieces. And the defense had argued that Sarah. I totally just butchered that. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm dyslexic. Let me live. Okay. The defense had argued that his oldest to die, the 25-year-old, killed herself as well as her siblings and the 1-year-old son she had with her father. Prosecutors said Marcus was the triggerman, but they also argued that even if the oldest did the shooting, her father should still be found guilty if he encouraged her to kill. Um, the jurors accepted the prosecution's second theory and found Wesson guilty, even though they decided that, the government didn't prove that he pulled the trigger. Like, they couldn't at that time prove that he was the one that pulled the trigger.
And he denied pulling the
Um,
trigger, I'm assuming.
I'm guessing, yeah. So several witnesses had testified that he had repeatedly coaxed the children to be ready to kill each other and themselves if the authorities ever threatened to break them up.
So there's the theory that
And
they all just kind of killed each other.
yeah, many of his surviving family members um, supported him. And, you know,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
sorry. I'm
Hmm.
sorry.
Hmm.
He.
Yeah. Huh? Yeah.
Okay, so let me get this straight. He's convicted of, um, like raping his kids and
Uh-huh.
nieces, and at the very least having a hand, even if it was instigating, but the deaths of 9 of his kids
Hmm.
and his family. So like, he didn't do anything wrong. Let him go.
Yeah.
I'm
So,
sorry if you're one of his family members who supported him. Fuck you. You're a fucking idiot.
so no fingerprints or GSR indicated who fired the murder weapon, but his surviving children testified that he wielded a high degree of control over his family. He preached to them daily, weaving a dogma of polygamy and incest from his interpretations of the Bible and Seventh-day Adventist beliefs. He was particularly severe with the young women who said that, they were homeschooled and had pretty much no contact with anyone outside of their family. And he would beat them for talking to men, and he molested them from age 7 or 8, and also took any money they earned and dictated what they could eat.
I'm trying very hard to
Yep.
control my mouth right now. Um,
So none of the children ever went to school. He taught them at home using, like, the basic homeschool stuff, which is like, for anyone who didn't do any kind of like homeschool or private school, it's usually flashcards. You can buy
use
textbooks
textbooks. Yeah.
online.
There's even homeschooling groups where like you can go and
Yeah,
actually like
yeah.
purchase the curriculum, and there's like even
Hmm.
online classes now. I was homeschooled, so I know all this shit. But
But he also added his little weird off kilter brand of Christianity in there. So like, yeah. Um, He also taught them to be prepared to die, like I said, if anyone tried to break up the household. He told his niece and his daughter, like the two older, that they were the strong soldiers who would hunt down and kill family members who betrayed him and who might have to kill family and themselves to prevent a breakup. He bought those coffins from an antique dealer, supposedly, possibly in preparation of
Of this
something like
happening.
that
Yeah.
happening.
And I'm assuming one of the caskets was supposed to be for him.
Uh-huh. No, 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 no.
No?
The caskets were for the kids.
But you said that there was 10, and there was only 9 kids in there.
But he had more kids than that. He has
True.
surviving kids, so. But yeah. Um,
Hopefully they've all changed their names.
some said that it was possible that he didn't commit the murders, and his lawyers say it was strong soldier, the oldest child, who shot the others and killed herself, and that she was on top of the pile of bodies, and the gun was underneath her. The police didn't find any gun residue on him, and even if he didn't fire the weapon, the prosecutors said that, you know, regardless, he still can get the death penalty because that's
Yes.
conspiracy to commit murder, and it's aiding and abetting of murder.
Yeah.
And it just, like,
Please tell me that he got the death penalty.
I'm getting there.
Oh.
There's so much information with this. And like I said, there's a lot. There's a lot. Um, like I said, a lot of his family members still supported him during this time. Whenever they were reading the verdict, um, a lot of his family members were like crying and sobbing and all this stuff, and he was like stone faced, just
In his eyes,
so
he did nothing wrong.
pretty much because I mean, like I said, he taught them from one. This might happen, and if it does, I'm teaching you to be prepared for it. Um, the verdict read by the court said that the panelists concluded that he fired the murder weapon. So, like, the panelists kind of said, hey, like, regardless of, you know, what you think, he fired this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was responsible for it.
Yeah.
He was convicted of the murders and the forcible sexual assault and was sentenced to death on June 27th, 2005.
And how long did he sit on death row? Or is he still
Um,
sitting? Please tell me he's
no,
not still sitting 15,
no,
16 years later.
he
Good.
died.
Okay.
I'm like 80% sure he died. Hold on. Let me make sure. Because
Google.
I thought to death was like, I'm pretty sure that it was a pretty immediate thing.
Good. Good.
Um, by the way, for anyone interested, he used a 22 caliber handgun. And he is not a serial killer. He is a mass murderer.
Mass
That was my
murder.
bad
I
at
was
the
gonna
beginning
say
of
because
this.
Ronnie DeFeo
Yeah.
is considered a mass murderer and not a serial.
Um,
Because I think mass murder is when there's like a ton of murders at the same time. Serial killer is when it's like over the course of so much time.
oh, shit. Um, Wesson was sentenced to death June 27th, 2005, and is currently in San Quentin State Prison.
He's still alive.
Somehow. Yeah.
Can we get the Punisher to
Yeah.
go in there?
See, it's
I mean,
wild to me because you know, most people like that don't last long in prison.
no, at all. Um, Probably shouldn't be saying this, but there was one time I almost went to jail, and yeah, and we were going through processing. It was me and one of my friends, and all of a sudden, we had multiple people coming up to us, being like, "See that guy over there? He messed with a 14-year-old girl. We're gonna jump his ass as soon as we get in. You guys in?" Like, they really do not fuck around with that shit at all in jail. Like, he has to be like in
No.
solitary,
Yeah.
or like, yeah, he has to be in some kind of solitary.
I just like, oh God, that's fucking wild.
That is.
Um, but yeah, that's
Wow.
what are your thoughts? And there is here and there more information, but basically
Okay.
all of it is the same thing that I kind of gave, which was, the baseline of it. It's just
So my thoughts. This guy's a fucking like weirdo fucking asshole motherfucker. He should have been fucking dead already. To his family members that supported him, what the fuck are you thinking? And I feel so horrible for like like the survivors, like the ones that weren't there when this happened, because I'm sure that they were against it because they had to have known what was going on. I'm sure that
because
they're.
all of the kids were, kind of indoctrinated with that
Mm-hmm.
as they were growing up, that, that was what was going to be considered the right thing to do if the time came.
And the children that weren't there, I'm sure they went and said, "No, he went and taught this." That is fucking white people.
They weren't white.
What? What? You're kidding.
Hold on. You really said what?
Because it sounds like a fucking white
You,
dude. It does. It 100% sounds like a white dude. I'm just. Oh, wow.
yeah, it's
So, I mean, we all know how white people love to go and twist the Bible into their own. Wow. I like how he has a bulletproof vest on.
yeah. Um,
Wow.
I mean,
I have no words. Well, that's it for this week.
once again, we remind you that we laugh at really inappropriate times. It's
Yes.
a nervous habit. It's
Yes.
not
Yes.
something that we do to be disrespectful.
Yes. Yes. Tune in next week on a much more lighthearted topic. She doesn't even know that we're going to do this, but we are. We are going to be discussing and sharing different weird, crazy conspiracy type things that you heard as a child and thought that they were true. If you guys have any, let us know in the comments. Send it to us on Twitter. This is going to be a crazy one
Oh
because
my
I
God,
already know
there's
of a
all
few.
that has some weird shit.
Yes, please let us know in the comments or on Twitter. We'll feature it in the video itself.
I'm
We'll really
so excited.
It's gonna be a fun one in comparison to the last 2 weeks. So that's it, you guys. Stay
As you can tell, I'm also doing way better since last week.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for everyone who was concerned. I really appreciate it. I'm doing much better. It just took a few days to, kind of get through that shock, but I'm good now. All right.
Stay spooky, everybody.
Bye.